So after watching the first 2 days of the Boxing Day test match between Australia and India, I've noticed that there are two pretty glaring concerns within the Australian team right now. The first problem I've noticed with the Australian team is Steve Smith's performance. And because he's such a crucial player for Australia, I'm talking about his performance as a problem for the overall team. And so far in this series, Steve Smith has only scored 2 runs out of 3 innings, and both times he's been dismissed in the series. He's been dismissed by Ravichandran Ashwin twice, and I think Ashwin has really worked out Steve Smith, especially the line and length to bowl to him, because Ashwin's not a big spinner of the ball, so I think he's worked out the proper line and length to bowl to Steve Smith. In Adelaide, he did not bowl he didn't bowl wide outside the off stump and get the ball to spin back into Smith, because I think he realized if he did that, with the ball coming into Smith, Smith could easily work it into the leg side, which is what he loves to do. Instead, he bowled much straighter and much quicker in that line just outside the off stump. Not too wide, but not on off stump either, just outside. And he also got the proper length. So Steve Smith was caught in two minds about whether to go on the back foot or whether to go on the front foot. And what ended up happening, as you saw, was Steve Smith, he got confused, he squared up and he nicked a catch to the slips. And then in Melbourne, Ashwin, I think he was turning the ball a little bit more, but instead of bowling that line just outside off stump, he actually bowled a straighter line, but the length he was pitching was a length such that Steve Smith once again couldn't decide to go on the back foot or the front foot. So what Steve Smith tried to do, because of that straighter line, he thought he could try and score in the leg side. So he started reaching for the ball, playing way outside his body, and then that's how he got caught at leg slip. And I think he really started to feel the pressure with India's leg side tactic, because they packed the leg side and tried to block those scoring options off. And because of the straight line Ashwin was bowling, he couldn't play to the offside. So, India did a really good job to get Steve Smith in a position where he's stuck. And as a batsman, that really starts to mess with your head. And I think we saw Steve Smith's jumbled headspace a little bit when he was fielding as well, because he actually dropped a catch when he was fielding this in the slips. So overall, I think India's really worked out the proper way to bowl to Steve Smith, and they've messed with his head, which for India is going to be really beneficial in the series to come, and it'll be really interesting to see how and if Steve Smith can bounce back from this. Another issue I noticed with the Australian team was their fielding. They dropped, so at the start of India's innings, Tim Paine dropped Shubman Gill, and then, as I mentioned, Steve Smith dropped Ajinkya Rahane on 73. Rahane went on to score 100, and he's still not out. So he punished Australia, and he'll probably continue to punish Australia for the rest of India's innings. And then in the 90th over, Travis Head also dropped a catch that should have easily been taken. So Australia missed 3 chances in the field instead of having India 5 down and leading by 82. If they had taken these chances, they could have had India 6 or 7 down and maybe only leading by 9 or 10. However, that being said, India did play really well, and I have to give credit to them, especially Ajinkya Rahane, who scored 104 runs. off 200 balls. And I think the number of balls that Rahane faced really, really draws attention to his grit and determination in this innings, which is something that Australia's batsmen haven't showed this series. When he came in, Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc had taken early wickets. The ball was swinging around, it was bouncing, there was a lot of pace in the wicket, but he dug in and played with a solid defense, and he showed a lot of mental strength and determination as well to dig in and fight for his wicket. He didn't score runs very quickly. He had to work a lot of balls down to third man. He nicked a lot of balls through the slips as well, but he dug in, and then he reaped the rewards later in the day by scoring 100 and putting India in a really good position to win the game.